Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. To you, Lord, I'm grateful, Allah the sustainer. For sins I'm remorseful, Allah the forgiver. For blessings I'm hopeful, Allah the bestower. Gracious and merciful, Allah the creator. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق أجمعين محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. We are still discussing about the miracles of the Holy Quran, and one of the miracles of the Holy Quran and Islam are its legislative rules and regulations. The Islamic issues and rules and regulations, what is obligatory, what is forbidden, are so wide, so vast, covering different aspects of life, that it is suitable for every time and every situation. Now, what are the characteristics of Islamic jurisprudence? These can be classified in the following points, because these are very important points that we look to Islamic jurisprudence and its characteristics. First, that Islam is flexible. It has its own rules and regulations which are suitable for every situation. Second, it coincides with the human nature, with innate or instinctive needs of a human being. That is one of its peculiarities, and you don't find Islam having any legislation against human nature. Third, that it looks to human being as a creature with body and soul. So Islam will not treat the body and forget the soul or the spirit, or care about the soul and forget the body. No, both are being taken care. Fourth, Islam target benefit of the society in general, rather than ideas and views and benefits of people, special people. So will not look to, public what they need. No, it's how to implement justice and how to benefit the society in general. Five, Islam has an internal and practical safeguards. You know, for any law to preserve that law, you need to have certain safeguards in order the law to be practical and to be implemented. So Islam implemented that as well. And six, there are very wide range of laws, rules, and regulations which will cover all aspects of life. So we are going to discuss these points one by one. To come to the first point, that Islam is flexible. How Islam is flexible? In what way Islamic rules and regulations, we regard them as flexible? Well, first, Islam concentrates on the spirit of the law rather than the technical definitions and technical meanings, you know, because that is the main issue, that the general idea to be clear and the people should abide to its rules and regulations, rather than to go into details of things, and that is left for the people to decide. So concentration in the law and the means to implement that law is left for the people, because the means are developed by time, but the law itself will not develop, because that's law for the human being, and human being will not change, it will remain the same. The means to implement that law might change. For example, Islam stress on education. too much, and the people encourage people to study, to understand, to learn, to be highly educated. Now, in what way they are educated? They read and write by pencil, or by ball pen, or type by computer, or write on a stone, or write on a brick, or write on paper, or write on a skin, as it used to be done in the past. Those are the ways of writing. Or nowadays, writing and preserving the books by printing them. All that is open for the civilization to do it. But Islam gives general rule and regulation that education is necessary. That you see, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. In Surah Al-Alaq, started with اقرأ, read by thy Lord who taught the people by pen how to write with pen, and taught the people or human being what they do not know. So Surah Al-Alaq encouraged the people to get education, to write, to read, but then to write on paper, on a skin like before, or to write nowadays on printing or on computer, or any way, that is up to you. So Islam looks to the main points rather than the means for that. Other example, the preparation against the enemies. The Holy Quran says, وَأَعِدُّوا لَهُمْ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن قُوَّةٍ. That is in Surah Al-Anfal, ayah number 60. Prepare for the enemy whatever power you have. Now, that power, in the old days, maybe you have to prepare your sword, or your spear, or the steel for the body, or similar things. But nowadays, you might prepare tanks and helicopters and aeroplanes and so on, different arms, you know. The main thing, the Muslims should prepare themselves to defend the Islamic country from attack of the enemies. But how to prepare, the details are not there, are left for the people. He gave you the general rule and regulation that it is your duty to be prepared in order to defend your country. But the way to prepare, the way for training, to make military service obligatory or not, is it at the age of 18 obligatory, age of 21, age of 17? All those details are left for the people to decide which way is better, and the specialist people who know which one is better, which age is suitable. Sometimes earlier age, sometimes they make it in summer. I mean, some countries have military service obligatory, but it is on summer. They do not take the youth for 2 years or 1 year, and they say 1 full year of their life is spoiled unnecessarily. We take them every summer 2 months. Within 5 years, 5 to 2 months, let us say, become 10 months or 12 months, and they are trained. That is sufficient. For example, I mean, that is the government will decide which way is to prepare. But the main thing is that you have to be prepared to defend your country. Well, there is another law that the Muslims should live independent, and they have their own might. Holy Quran said, وَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةُ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلَكِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. In Surah Al-Munafiqun, ayah number 8. So the might is for Allah, for His Prophet, and for believers. They have to live with might and with independence, rather than they are depending on others, non-Muslims, and the non-Muslims will force them to practice in a way which is against the benefit of the Muslim country. So that law general is there. Now, how to implement it? Well, it may depend from time to time, from situation to situation, from a country to country. So the details, the mean, are left for the Muslims. Naturally, the Muslims have specialists in political issues, in international laws, in economic laws, social laws. So how to be independent in all fields of life, about our food to be independent, our agriculture to be independent, our factories to be independent, and so on. What way we can reach independence that the specialists will do. The means are not mentioned. Should we make a factory and produce tractors, for example, or buy the tractors for agriculture? Well, that depends time to time. Should we give irrigation for our farms, by ordinary traditional way, or we make pipes and drop by drop in order to reduce consumption of water? Well, again, that is left for development of civilization. Should we make certain pipes which can carry the water maybe 20, 30, 50 kilometers away of the river, or no? Well, again, up to you. You do whatever your need is there. But the main point that the might of the Muslims should be preserved and their independence. So that is, let us say, how Islam is flexible. Give you the general important rule and regulation and leave the mean for you to do it. Another example is chastity of the women. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked the women to be with hijab, with modesty, with chastity, and mentioned in the Holy Quran in Surah An-Nur, ayah 31, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا وَلْيَضْرِبْنَ بِخُمُرِهِنَّ عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنَّ. They should not show their beauty except what is apparent of their beauty. Apparent, they said, like ring of marriage, or let us say their face and so on. And they should cover the headpiece to cover their neck and chest. So that is the hijab in general. Now that hijab, what dress should be there? He left the dress for the people to decide. Maybe in Iraq, what you call is abaya, the black abba is used there. In Iran, chador is used. In Pakistan, let us say they have what is called qamis and shalwar is the one which is wide, and that is like a shirt and pant which are wide. They are used in Pakistan. Besides, the head scarf, they use it to cover the head. Or maybe in other country like a mantu, a long mantu. So anyway, the main thing is to cover the beauty of the women. But how to cover, what dress, what way? In Africa, maybe different than Asia, maybe different than America. Say up to you. As long as you cover the beauties of the women, that is okay. So Islam give the general rules and leave the details for Muslims. Another example is the looking after the benefits of Muslims in international trade and business relations. The Muslims in their diplomatic relations with other countries, they have to seek benefit of the Muslims, not benefit of other countries. As you said, they should be independent and should think about the benefit of the Muslims in whatever treaties written with other countries. For example, the Holy Quran says, وَلَنْ يَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ لِلْكَافِرِينَ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ سَبِيلًا in Surah An-Nisa, ayah 141. But Allah will not make a way of power for non-believers above the believers. So that rule and regulations, individually, you said the Muslim women are not allowed to marry a non-Muslim man because the man is affecting the house. So Allah doesn't want the Muslim woman to be under influence of a non-believer. Or it might come on an international level where the non-Muslim countries might control the Muslim countries, and he said Allah will not agree with that. But at the same time, we see in Surah Al-Mumtahina, ayah 8 and 9, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إن الله يحب المقسطين إنما ينهاكم الله عن الذين قاتلوكم في الدين وأخرجوكم من دياركم وظاهروا على إخراجكم أن تولوهم ومن يتولهم فأولئك هم الظالمون. Here I generally mention that Allah will not negate you that to have relations with those who did not fight with you and did not force you to leave your country. So you may be kind to them, you may be just with them, you may have a good relation with them. That is okay because they are not your enemies who fought with you. But Allah will negate you that you should not have a relation, or you should not love others or be under pressure of those who fought with you and take you out of your countries, and or try to support others to take you out of your country. So those, then you cannot have friendship with them. So you see that I am mentioning general rule and regulation that to live peacefully in international relations, as long as other countries are not interfering in your affairs and your issues and are not doing any injustice to you, you may have good relations with them. But those imperialist powers which are demanding to control the country and get their benefit rather than benefit of the Muslim country, then you cannot have peace with them. So you see a general rule and regulations. That is on political issues. Also in business, the same thing. On the trade and business internationally, it is asked that the Muslims should have their independence, and there are certain rules and regulations like interest is not allowed, that usury is not allowed, for example, or to sell something which are harmful to others, and let's say drugs and similar things are not allowed. Otherwise, if you do trade, that is actually recommended by Islam to be a businessman and to do a trade and business. So there are general rules, but then the details are left upon you. So that is one point about flexibility, that Islam concentrate on the law and leave the means of implementing that law for the Muslim Ummah. The second one, there are general rules and regulations in Islam in which it apply at any critical situation. General rules. One of them, for example, that necessities will be negated, will negate the sins. You know, if one is in a terrible situation, an emergency, well, called daruri or necessary or emergency situation. So if he has to do something whenever it is emergency case, it will not be sin. Suppose somebody in desert and is dying of thirst and he has only wine with him. If he do not drink the wine, wine has water, mainly let us say 95% water, otherwise he will die. Say, okay, now because it is necessary for you, we are not asked to die, okay, that sin is forgiven at this situation. Or some patient, he might need certain things to take which are haram, maybe certain syrups which have alcohol in it, for example, are najis, but they are life-saving, very necessary, very important for him, life-saving for him. They said when that unlawful become lawful. So it's a general law. The Holy Quran said, وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ in Surah Al-Hajj, ayah 78. Allah did not make in your religion any difficulty. No. When it is not possible and very difficult situation, no, Allah will not make that law for you. You see, that is general law. At any situation, when you see it is a critical and there is emergency, then you have to do something unlawful because it is life-saving for you, important for you. You say, okay, that become halal, a general law. Or in another ayah, يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر in Surah Al-Baqarah ayah 185. Or in cases of taqiyya, when there is enemy and he threatens me, if he knows my faith correctly, I will be in trouble, or I might lose my health, my wealth, my life. So here I may hide my belief and that is taqiyya. The Holy Quran says in Surah Al-Nahl, ayah 106, إِلَّا مَنْ أُكْرِهَ وَقَلْبُهُ مُطْمَئِنٌ بِالْإِيمَانِ, except if a person is forced to say something against his belief, but his heart is confident about his faith. So the heart is sure about the right faith, but by tongue he may show something different just to save himself. So here Islam allows that at any situation, maybe in Middle East you have a problem, maybe in Western countries you have a problem, maybe in Africa you have this a problem, maybe at your home an enemy will come and threaten you something, and you say something else to mislead him. A thief will come and he say, do you have money? You will not tell him, yes, this is my money, come and take it. So you tell him, no, I have no money, and probably you have hidden some money somewhere that he will not find it. So what you say in tongue is other than what is in reality in heart, but that was life-saving or to protect your health or wealth or any situation. Other one, no obligation in impossible or hardly possible laws. When the law is impossible to be implemented or very difficult to be implemented, then that law will not be obligatory. You see, the Holy Quran said in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 173, فَمَنْ اضْطُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. And in Surah Al-An'am, ayah 119, وَقَدْ فَصَّلَ لَكُمْ مَا حَرَّمَ عَلَيْكُمْ إِلَّا مَا اضْطُرِرْتُمْ إِلَيْهِ. So when ضرورة, well, certain necessities, problems, difficulties. So if somebody is at that situation, well, then whatever was unlawful will become lawful for him, because that is a special situation, not ordinary situation. So this is the way how Islamic rules and regulations are flexible, which can suit any place, any time, because of these general rules and regulations there. We come to the second point, specifications of Islam, as we say, characteristics of Islamic jurisprudence. The second point, that Islam always coincides with the human nature. Islamic rules and regulations are never against a human nature. You see, Islam will not put any law which is human nature, will not accept it. Actually, very clearly, the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Rum, ayah 30, said, فَأَقِمْ وَجْهَكَ لِلدِّينِ حَنِيفًا فِطْرَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَطَرَ النَّاسَ عَلَيْهَا لَا تَبْدِيلَ لِخَلْقِ اللَّهِ. You stand and put your face toward the religion, and that is فطرة Allah. It is the human nature that Allah has created him with that, and there is no change to the creation of Allah. Allah made us in that, and this will come with us. Everything that if we see in Islam, all rules and regulations always will come with a human fitra, human nature. Nothing against that, because these rules are for benefit of a human being, so can't be against his nature. Actually will support his nature and will refine it. The other things that are changing, let us say the civilization, the technology, the other things, they are not against the human nature. So Islam put it open, general, but only the general things are there. Here there are some examples. For example, what we come, the differences between men and women. Well, people are always saying that men and women are of equal rights. Of course, in Islam, men and women are of equal rights, but not similar rights. So there is a difference between equality and similarity. Well, the woman is woman, the man is man. They cannot have similar rights. Everyone has a different right. But equal, yes, in front of the law, they are equal, but the rules and regulations for the man are suitable for human nature of the man, and rules and regulations for the women are suitable for the human nature of the women. So the rules will observe the human nature. If they are equal and similar, will not be similar to human nature. I cannot force the woman to do the job of the man, or the man, I force him to do job of a woman. You see, everyone created with different anatomy, different hormones, different ability. Well, size of the heart is different, size of the brain is different, the hormones are different, the power of the muscles is different, the emotions are different, you know, psychology is different, and so on. There are hundreds of differences between men and women, which are mentioned scientifically in medical books or books of physiology and anatomy and similar books. So you can't say they have similar rights or similar rules and regulations. No, not similar. That is why we say when the women, for example, they have menstruation, they said prayer is not obligatory for them. Fasting, they will not fast. They will fast some other time. That is a special rule and regulation for them, for the men, which is different than the one. They are not supposed to work, because going outside in work, if become obligatory for women, then she might not tolerate that and may have difficulty of hijab. God asked the man, the husband, to look after his wife from economic point of view. Even if his wife is rich, he is not supposed to touch her money. He said, it is your duty as a husband, that is part of the marriage contract. You know, you as a husband are responsible to look after your family. So he's looking to the nature of the man and ability to work. Okay, if the woman help in expenses of the house, there is a great reward for her, no doubt. That is fine, but what I mean is not obligatory. The rule is like that. So that is one of the examples. The Holy Quran in Surah Al-Nisa, ayah 34, say, الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم. The men are standing to take care of the women because of what Allah has given or favored some of you upon the other, and because of money that they are spending. So they have certain rights for the man, for the husband at home is to be, let us say, obeyed, and so on. Details are mentioned in Book of Fiqh. But what I mean, that is according to the human nature. The other points, you know, the general moral values and public chastity. Islam will not crush the instinctive desires of a human being. Will not crush the desire. So the desire is there. If you need to marry, you have to marry. You should marry. You are encouraged to marry, and if you need it, it becomes obligatory, wajib. Not to say, okay, go and do not marry and stay there, because that is against a human nature. Human nature is he needs to marry, he needs to have a house, he needs to have a shelter, he needs to have a dress, and so on. So these are basic needs of the human being. So you have it. The only thing, there should be rules and regulations. The relation of man with a woman should be only through marriage, not haphazard relation, because you need to satisfy your sexual desires. You can go anywhere and practice it haphazardly. You say, no, that is not right, not allowed. But to do it through marriage, that is fine. So there are rules and regulations for controlling instinctive desires, but those desires are not crushed, are fulfilled within the rules and regulations. So Islam encouraged the marriage, for example. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Min sunnati at-tazwij, faman raghiba an sunnati falaysa minni." One of my practice sunnah is marriage, and anybody who turn away of my sunnah, he is not regarded from me. He is not following me, So that is encouraged because that is instinctive desires. The other point, struggle to fulfill our religious ideology. Jihad in both its parts, to struggle to control our selfish desires, and also struggle to defend the Muslim countries, is there, and that is part of the human nature. In any country, even the pagans, if you attack them, they will defend themselves. Even the people in the villages, if you attack them, they will defend themselves. In jungles, if you attack anybody, naturally he will defend himself. So to ask people to defend themselves in jihad is not something against human nature. It is actually coinciding with the human nature. Okay, not to attack others, not to be unjust, not to be terrorist, that is right. But to defend yourself and to protect yourself and to prepare yourself, that is natural rule and regulations. Every country, anywhere, is like that. So these things are important to know. The other point, for example, general cleanliness. Islam encourages cleanliness, and cleanliness naturally is liked by human nature. And really the peculiarity of cleanliness in Islam shows this point only. One of the important points which shows that the Islamic rules and regulations are a divine, not a human. Why? Because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came a prophet in Mecca, in Arabian desert area where there is a shortage of water. Not much water is there. And in an area when there is no water, you cannot put rules and regulations to use too much water. See, if it is a human idea, so a human being will look to the normal situation. At a place when there is no water, you cannot ask the people to use water. This is normal way. But you see, Islam, though it came in an area where there is no water, encourages people for water. To perform wudu, you need water. To perform ghusl, you need water. And you are recommended to wash your hand before food. Recommended to wash your hand after taking food. You are asked, for cleanliness from urine, from stool, from blood, from other things, to use water. To clean your clothes, you have to use water. So water has a great role in our life, that if it is not a divine law, that law will not come in mind of someone who lived in an area where there is a scarcity of water. There is not much water available. So naturally it shows that this law is a divine law from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not from Prophet Muhammad himself. These are some of the examples about coinciding of Islamic rules and regulations with the human nature. We come to the third point, that Islamic rules are looking after the body and the soul. You see, this is very, very important. Generally, Islam encourages people to live in a normal way. The Holy Quran said in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 143, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونُ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. We have made you a middle ummah so that you will be a witness upon the people and the Prophet will be a witness upon you. So it's a ummatan wasata, at the middle. There is no extremism in Islamic rules and regulations. To have the beauties of life, good dress or good house or good car and nice living is not discouraged in Islam, is encouraged. But because that will get transgression sometimes, one get proud. So Islam putting a solution for your pride. So you have a good house, a good car, a good address, no problem. But do not be proud. Do not feel superiority to others. Do not insult the poor people. Do not forget the needy. You see, from other point, he cared for your soul, that this material gain might affect your morality. So he discussed both the points, similar things about having wealth, To have wealth is okay. Encourage you to have a business and you might get your livelihood from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But because too much money will spoil your spirit sometimes, you will feel proud, sometimes you waste the money unnecessarily. So Islam have other rules and regulations to control you, that you should not waste, you should not transgress, you should not feel superior to others, you should not forget need of others, and so on, So look for body and soul together. The second point is like practicing sex through marriage. Will not say that do not fulfill your body need. Well, the body needs that is instinctive desire. But at the same time, control your soul, that you should not go too much in that, and that will be only your job. You think about other. As long as it fulfill your need, fine, but not to exceed the limit. So a lot of rules and regulations preventing you from not exceeding the limit. In Surah Al-Qasas, ayah 77, says, وَابْتَغِ فِي مَا أَتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. You try to get the hereafter with what Allah has given you. You get wealth, you get anything, whatever blessing Allah favored you, you try to get a better position in Akhirah, but at the same time, do not forget your share of this worldly life. So it's neither to forget this dunya, not to forget the Akhirat. Both should be fulfilled. Third point is gaining wealth without transgression, that we have discussed, and the other point, gaining halal meat without spoiling the spirit of the butcher. You see, when you come to the matter of slaughtering the animal, slaughtering and killing the animal naturally will create hard heart for the person, the butcher himself. Well, that material work to get used to kill the animals naturally will affect you. So Islam, in order to treat your soul not to be affected, your morality, has put a lot of recommended things. First of all, you think about the animal, if the animal is thirsty or not. Give him water. Secondly, be sure the knife is very sharp, that you should not make pain for the animal. With one cut, then you will cut, then in one cut, the animal will feel no pain sometimes, or with minimum pain. You remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, say Bismillah, Wallahu Akbar, for example. You be toward Qibla. So you see, all that will keep you in touch of religion, in touch of remembering Allah. You are toward Qibla, you are remembering Allah, and you are looking toward the animal from kindness and mercy, not to harm him. Okay, your necessity as a human being to eat meat of the animal, fine, but that should not create hard heart for you. So looked both the side, your body and need of the body, and your soul and need of the soul. So the soul is protected and the body is protected. There are many Islamic rules and regulations taking care of that. When we come to the fourth point, we say benefits of the society. Now, sometimes the society is needing something, and the public, general public, needs something else. It is public, they say we will not pay taxes, for example. If you take individually, so we should not pay tax, our money for ourselves. But then the justice of the society needs that the people should pay tax and money should be distributed. So Islamic rules and regulations are like that. The thieves may not agree that you punish him, but for the benefit of the society, you have to punish the thieves or to punish the killer, for example. So there are rules and regulations in which look for the society. So khums and zakat and other religious taxes are thought about making justice in the society, though individuals may not like it. But Islamic rules and regulations said we have to look to all the society, not majority. Sometimes majority, they need their own benefit. If majority have something which will suit them, naturally they will say vote for what suits them, not what suit others. So, but Islam said no, what is justified for others, what there is justice or let us say fair rules and regulations for the society as a whole, one body, not individuals, even if those individuals are majority. So that is one of the points about Islam. Well, having internal and practical safeguards to guarantee its practicing and to fulfill its aims and objects. It's easy to make rules and regulations, but what guarantee that these rules and regulations will be implemented and are practical for the society? You may put 1,000 rules and regulations, then you cannot control it. The society will go against you. The people will not listen to you. You cannot put police on every human being to control him. It's not possible. That is too much money will be wasted, and too much money means too much taxes to take, and too much taxes will create problem in the society. You see, it's not always you have to control it by force or by police or secret agents and so on. But Islam has its own rules and regulations. He let the people fear Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they have an internal police controlling them. I am obeying the rules and regulations not because there is people looking to me, but because I know Allah is looking to me. I love my religion. I fear Almighty Allah. I hate to disobey my Lord, my Creator, my Sustainer. It's not good to disobey Him. He's looking after me. He is all merciful, all compassionate, and then I do not worship Him. I do not listen to His rules and regulations. That is not nice. So the people themselves, the Muslims, are brought up to be pious, to be religious, to be afraid of God, not to do injustice because they are afraid of the court. No, there are a lot of places where you can do injustice and court cannot catch you. Not always you can document the sins that are done, but you do not do it because you are afraid of God. That is why you see in Muslim Ummah, when the people are really practicing Muslim, not by name, they are Muslim, there are hardly thieves available. And need for police is not much. Need for the court is not much. People will solve their problem within themselves without need to go to the court. Because they say they know what is good, what is wrong, and they will reconcile the situation, whether it is a mistake or problem between husband and wife, or between, let us say, a friend and a friend, or between a businessman and another businessman, and whatever things. The ratio of a crime is absolutely low. There is no much crimes. Killing is almost nil. Even divorce, which is allowed by Islam, though it is hated by God, but allowed in Islam, hardly there is divorce in the, let us say, conservative Muslim societies. See, why? Not because the law is not allowing it. The law allows it, but the people do not like it. They say, we respect relation to each other. I mean, the husband to his wife to his husband. And we are looking to Allah that if we be kind to each other, or if we sacrifice some of our rights, we will get a great reward in the hereafter. So we don't need to say, this is my right, that is your right, and make very sharp line. No. Well, you have exceeded your right, and this is my right. She said, this is my right, and they fight and quarrel on something. You say, there is no fight, no quarrel. So you need it, okay, take it. So they deal with each other with mercy and with kindness, because they are afraid of God, not afraid of the law. So there is internal control for every Muslim, which will make him a better Muslim and practicing the rules and regulations without need for interference of the government. So that is one of the peculiarity of Islamic rules and regulations. Well, the sixth one, we said, a wide range of laws, rules, and regulations which will cover all aspects of life. Actually, the issues in Islamic rules and regulations are so wide that covers tens of thousands of issues, you know. Allama al-Hulli wrote in his book Tahrir al-Ahkam al-Shar'iyya about 20,000 issues. And when Jawahir al-Kalam, which is 43 volumes, were written after Allama, maybe 2-3 times more than what Allama al-Hulli has written, they have added to that. So you see how Islamic rules and regulations are wide and flexible. Tens of thousands of rules and regulations are there, while you don't find in any law. You get law of any country. You take French law or American law or a British law or German law or Japanese law, you may found 1,000 issue or 2,000 or 5,000 issue maximum, and that's finished. While Islam is so wide range of rules and regulations that whatever humanity needs, you can find it, and if not found, then the rules and regulations are such that through the process of ijtihad, the ulama, the maraji' can tell you what is the Islamic rules and regulations on this new peculiar issue. So from this, we see that such a wide range law cannot be made by an ordinary human being who lived 1,400 years before in ignorant era, al-Jahiliyyah, among the Arabs who have no such understanding and such rules and regulations, and he bring all that. It's impossible for ordinary human, even human being at the modern life, they could not produce such wide rules and regulations like Islam. In a modern life, with all intellectuals and scholars we have, still human laws have not reached the high standard of Islamic law. So how come a person 1,400 years before bring this law? So naturally that is a miraculous law, and that is a sign that the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a real prophet of God, and his religion is a divine religion of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.